Chapter 4. The next day, Hans, Liedenbrock and Axel follow the stream down the tunnel. The professor looks at his compass. "Where are we now?" asks Axel. 200 kilometers southeast of Snæfell, so we're under the sea, answers his uncle. When the tunnel goes down, Professor Liedenbrock is very happy. Sometimes they stop and the professor writes in his book. "How many days is it before we go back?" asks Axel. "We've got water now, but not much food." "Be quiet, Axel," says Liedenbrock. "I'm writing about a journey." Axel is walking down the tunnel the next day when suddenly he loses Hans and the professor. He walks back, but he can't find them. Just then he falls and breaks his lamp. "Oh no," he cries. Axel sits and waits in the dark. At last he hears something. He puts his head near the tunnel wall and listens. "I can hear Hans and Professor," he thinks. "They're talking, but where are they?" "Help!" cries Axel. "Help!" The tunnel wall takes Axel's cries down to the professor and Hans. "Axel, are you okay?" the professor calls back. "We're far in front of you. Come on down here." Axel begins to walk, but he can't see anything. Suddenly his foot hits something and he's falling down. Axel falls for a long time. When he opens his eyes again, he's in a very big cave. "Axel, you're alive!" cries the professor. "Yes, but where are we?" asks Axel. "I can see light and I can hear the sea. Are we under the earth now or not?" "Yes, Axel, we are," says the professor. "There's a big underground sea in front of us. We must go across it. Hans is making a raft." Soon the raft is ready. They put the luggage on it and begin to sail across the underground sea. They'll sail for many days, but they don't see a thing. Suddenly, 2 sea monsters come out of the water. They're fighting. "I must tell Graben about these monsters when I get home," thinks Axel. Hans quickly sails the raft away from them. Chapter 5. Hans, Liedenbrock and Axel sail on the raft across the underground sea. The professor is looking for land. "Look at those clouds," says Axel. "A storm is coming." The raft is sailing very quickly now. There is a lot of lightning in the clouds. Suddenly, some blue and white lightning comes from the cloud. It explodes over them and breaks the raft. Just then, the raft hits some rocks. At last, they are back on land. "How can we go back to Snæfell now?" asks Axel. "Go back? What are you saying?" "First we must find the center of the earth," says the professor. Hans finds the luggage and begins to work on the raft. He wants to make it ready to sail again soon. Liedenbrock and Axel go for a walk. They walk over some rocks. Suddenly, the professor finds a dead body. It's the body of a man. "Oh no," thinks Axel. "Are there men living down here?" They walk to the trees in front of them. The trees aren't green because there's no sun. Through the trees, Axel can see some big land monsters. "What are they?" he asks. "Oh no, look at that! They're coming nearer," he cries worriedly. "They're mastodons," laughs the professor. "They aren't living on Earth now, but they are alive down here." Just then the professor stops. "Look over there, Axel," he says quietly. In front of them they can see a man. He's very tall and he's walking with the mastodons. "Quick, back to the raft before he sees us," cries Axel. The professor runs after him. Not far from the raft, Axel sees something on the ground. It's an old knife. "Is that your knife on the ground?" he asks the professor. "No," answers Liedenbrock. He takes the knife in his hand. "But let's see, why is it here? Perhaps I know." Liedenbrock looks carefully at the rocks near them. Soon he finds something interesting. "Look, Axel, the letters AS for On Sagnassum," says the professor. "It's a sign from his journey here in the 1500s. We must go down this tunnel now." After that, Liedenbrock and Axel go back to the raft. All their luggage is on it, and the raft is ready to sail. "Quickly, Hans," says the professor. "Let's sail to those rocks over there." When they get to the rocks, they can see the tunnel with the letters AS next to it. Let's go into this tunnel and follow Arne Sagnussen, says Professor Lidenbrock. They take the lamp and go into the new tunnel. Soon they come to a very big rock. It's in the center of the tunnel. It's no good, says the professor. We can't go through the tunnel. This rock is stopping us. Just then he remembers the gunpowder in the luggage. Let's blow up the rock, he says. Then we can follow Sagnussen. Chapter 6. Hans goes back to the raft and brings the gunpowder. He puts lots of it near the rock. He takes the lamp and lights the gunpowder. Then Lidenbrock, Hans and Axel get on the raft quickly and sail away from the tunnel. 3, 2, 1. A few minutes later, the rock explodes. Suddenly, the seawater runs through the big hole in the cave wall and the raft goes with it. Down, down, down. The raft goes down with Lidenbrock, Hans and Axel on it. Minutes later, the raft is moving very fast through a big tunnel. Lidenbrock lights the lamp and Axel can now see the luggage. We haven't got much food there, he thinks. Then the raft goes over the waterfall. When they arrive at the bottom, water from the waterfall falls on top of them. Everything is dark and very quiet there. Am I dead? Thinks Axel. Hans lights the lamp again. They are in a small tunnel. They can see. Look, we're going up now, says Lidenbrock excitedly. Up? Asks Axel. Where's this tunnel going? Can we get out of it alive? I don't know, Axel, but let's eat, says the professor. I'm hungry. They eat, but soon there is no more food. It's hotter and hotter in the tunnel now, and the raft is going up the hot tunnel very quickly. Axel looks at the water under the raft, but there isn't any water now. The raft is moving on lava. Axel is worried. What's happening, he asks. We're going back to the upper world, says the professor. We're in a volcano and it's erupting. But where is this volcano, thinks Axel. Suddenly, the raft comes up out of the tunnel and into the sky. It is moving very fast now. A few minutes later, it comes back down and hits the ground near a mountain. Are we back in Iceland? Asks Axel. No, this isn't Iceland, says the professor. Everything's green here. Come on, says the professor. This lava's very hot. Let's walk away from the mountain. Lidenbrock, Axel and Hans get off the raft and begin to walk quickly away from the volcano. Soon they see a small boy under a tree. What's the name of the volcano? Lidenbrock asks the boy in a number of different languages. Finally, the boy understands when the professor speaks in Italian. Etna, he answers. So we're on Etna in Sicily, in the south of Italy, says the professor. That's 5,000 kilometers from Snæfellsnes. Hans smiles for the first time on the long journey. After that, they take a boat back to Germany. When they arrive at the professor's house in Hamburg, Grauben is waiting. Now you're a hero, Axel, she says. Please don't leave me again. Soon Hans says goodbye and he goes back to Iceland. Professor Lidenbrock writes a book about his journey to the center of the earth. After that, he's a hero for scientists across the world. And Axel is the happiest man on earth when he marries Grauben.